Hey, y'all, thank you for tuning in to the Texas Longhorns preview and prediction for the 2025 football season. Texas fans, if this is the first time you've seen me, I cover all the SEC teams. Even though I am a Vols fanatic, I'm a Tennessee fan. I cover all the SEC teams, and I take pride in looking at the teams unbiasedly and giving my predictions. I've already done about 5 teams right now with their predictions and the previews, and now the Texas Longhorns are the next team that I'm going to talk about. So anyway, let's talk about the Texas Longhorns. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the coach, Steve Sarkisian. Man, this guy was a home run for Texas. This guy they got him from Alabama. He was one of the best minds in the business offensively, and he's been there since 2021. And in 2021 and 2022, they weren't the best seasons, but man, in 2023 and 2024, that has turned. Texas has made the semifinals in both those seasons, and they were just a step away from getting to that national championship. And I'm going to talk about why I think they missed the national championship and why I think this year they may have the components to get to the national championship and maybe even win it. So, but Steve Sarkisian, the 4 things that I think he's done extremely well. One, he recruits well. But not only does he recruit well, he identifies the right guy. So even though they may be a 5-star, they may not be the best fit. So he's really good at knowing the culture at Texas and getting the right guy. And then the other thing is him and his staff are great at developing talent. And Tom Herman and his staff, I think I'm being fair on that, Texas fans, when I say he was not the best at developing talent or identifying talent. And lastly, he's a much better coach on game day than Tom Herman ever was. So Steve Sarkisian, it seems to be a home run hire for Texas, and Texas is in very, very good hands with Steve Sarkisian. Now, let's talk about the 2024 season. It was a success, I think. 13-3. You were just a step away from winning the SEC title. You lost to Georgia twice. You lost to Ohio State once. You played Ohio State better than any playoff team that they went up against. Defensively, I thought you did really good against that really explosive offense of Ohio State. But you fell a little bit short, and I still think that it was a successful season. You won against your rivals, Texas A&M. You went into Texas A&M and won that game in a very tough environment. You beat Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma was down. It doesn't matter. You beat Oklahoma. That's kind of like with us, with Alabama. It don't matter what the record, as long as you get the win. So 13-3. That's a successful season in my opinion. I know Texas fans want more this year though. Let's talk now about that defense from last year. Now this, man, the only defense I think better than Texas last year was Ohio State. That's the only defense that was better in my opinion. They were the 3rd total defense in the country last year, only giving up 284 yards per game. They had the 13th rushing defense, 7th pass defense, 3rd scoring defense, only giving up 15 points per game. And they were 15th in team sacks. They averaged about 3 sacks per game. And I think this year the team sacks are going to go way up, and I'm going to talk about that more. This will be, in my opinion, one of the best defensive edge ends, defensive line pass rushing bunch that Texas has had probably since the 2005 or the 2002 Texas team. So they are going to be fun to watch getting after the quarterback. This defensive line is going to be, especially the edge guys. So let's talk now a little bit more about the offense. Now, the offense was good last year. Don't get it twisted. I'm not talking trash about your offense, but they were not the defense. The defense was really the more solid of the two. The offense was just outside the top 20 at 21st in total offense. But what kept you all back? The main reason was the rushing offense, okay? You had 2 running backs go down in the offseason in C.J. Baxter, Christian Clark, and I really think that hurt your depth. And you had a really good offensive line last year, but I think the running backs weren't quite where they needed to be. Now, you had some guys that stepped up like Blue and Wisner. They played well, but I think your depth this year is going to be much, much better. Now, your pass offense was amazing. You had a trio of great wide receivers. You had a great tight end, and the pass game was there. I mean, you did really, really good. But man, if you'd had a good running game to go with that pass game, Texas would have been that much better. And, you are losing a lot of good players from last year. Now, you got a lot of people coming back, but you are losing some key players. Quinn Ewers, a guy that was calm and cool, not the most talented, not the fastest, not the strongest arm, but the dude kind of reminded me, and as a Tennessee fan, he reminded me of one of our old quarterbacks, Casey Clausen. Wasn't the fastest, didn't have the strongest arm, but man, he was calm and cool, and you wanted him on your sideline, especially in a big game. And you're losing Kelvin Bax Jr. Now, he was a top 10 pick in this last draft. It's going to hurt a lot, losing him. You really wanted him protecting your blind side. You're losing your best receiver in Matthew Golden. He almost had 1,000 yards receiving last year. Really, really good receiver. I had a chance to watch him a lot, and dude was always open. He was really good at getting open on his routes, had good hands, and he was a difference maker for Texas. Some other guys, you're losing Barron in the secondary. He's a first-round guy, and you're losing Alfred Collins on that defensive line. You are losing a couple guys on that defensive line that were really, really good players that anchored that defensive line. That will hurt a little bit. Gunnar Helm at tight end, he's going to be hard to replace as well. He was really good for you all. He had over 700 yards catching last year. So those are hard guys to replace. Now, the guys you got coming back, you got Arch Manning coming back. Now, Arch Manning really only played 2 games last year. He's not played a lot. He has come in some situations. He played in the Georgia game. He's played some here and there, but he's not had the full reins of this team yet, and he's going to have a lot of pressure on him. I really believe Arch Manning is going to work out for Texas, but it's not definitively, you know what I mean? Like, it's not for sure yet. He has to prove it, and it's going to start the first week in Columbus, Ohio. So he's got a lot of pressure on him. So they do have him coming back. I think he's honestly better than Quinn Ewers. I think he's more talented. He's definitely faster. He's the better runner. So I think as the year goes on, Arch Manning's going to get better and better. Hopefully there's no growing pains for Arch Manning at the first of the year, but we'll see that in the Ohio State game. So another player that's coming back, Colin Simmons, this guy was just a stud. 9 sacks last year as a true freshman, 48 tackles, 14 tackles for loss. You got Ryan Wingo coming back. He was a freshman at last year too, 472 yards receiving. And now you also have Anthony Hill coming back, who in my opinion is the best linebacker in the country. This dude had 113 tackles, had 8 sacks. He's a preseason All-American. So, defensively, you guys are set in 2025, in my opinion, set. I think you are going to be hard to score on, just like last year. You may be even better this year than you were last year on the defensive side of the ball, and that's kind of hard to even comprehend because you all were so good last year. You got Michael Taffy at safety position. He's back. He had 78 tackles. He's another kind of preseason All-American type guy. Very solid. You don't have to worry about him getting beat or making bad reads and getting you all in trouble from that safety position. And now you also have Trey Moore coming back. He's got over 19 sacks the past 2 seasons. He's a UTSA transfer. He transferred last year to Texas from UTSA. He come on at the last part of the year, got better and better. And you got Simmons and Moore coming after the quarterback. That's a scary thought. I'm glad Tennessee does not play Texas this year, especially with the offensive line that Tennessee has. So Texas is going to be scary this year with those guys coming back. So here's my grades after looking at all the position groups for Texas. The QB grade, I'm giving it a B. Now, let me explain why I'm giving it a B. There's really nothing behind Arch Manning. If Arch Manning gets hurt, Texas is in big, big trouble. And Arch Manning has not proven for sure that he is the next Tom Brady, okay? I think we all know he's going to be at least solid, but will he be great? We don't know. So I have to give him a B. Now, The running back position, I'm giving an A-. I really believe the running game is going to be much better for Texas this year. And they have to be, because the offensive line is not as good, which I'll get into. You've got 3 running backs coming back, or 3 or 4 running backs. You got an immense depth back there, guys with experience, guys that are very, very talented too. So the running backs, I'm giving an A-. Wide receiver grade, I'm giving you an A. You got a couple guys coming back there with a lot of experience, and you have a lot of up-and-coming guys that are really, really talented, so you have a lot of depth back there at the wide receiver position. I give that an A. Offensive line, I'm giving it a B. Now, offensive line's not bad. It's not as good as it was last year, losing the 2 offensive tackles that you have. You really have 1 starter coming back, but you do have guys that played, and you do have guys that are waiting in the wings that are immensely talented and have played. So there is experience there. It may be a little difficult at first, like I said, that Ohio State game. But as the season goes on more and more, I think the offensive line will get better. At first it might be an issue, but I think as the year goes on, that offensive line will improve. Now, defensive line, I'm giving it an A-. You are losing a couple of those defensive tackles that were really, really talented. You're bringing some guys in that are really talented as well. I think they're going to be just fine. But you may take a small step back at defensive line, at least in the interior part. But why I'm still giving you all A- is because you got those edge guys and Simmons, and more. I mean, they're studs. I really believe Texas might lead the SEC in sacks this year. That's not a stretch at all saying that. So I'm giving the defensive line an A-. Linebackers, A+. I think maybe linebackers, you might have the best linebacker room in the country. Definitely top 5. And then secondary, A+, you got 2 All-Americans coming back. You do lose a couple guys, but you still got a bunch of guys that played a lot last year, and you got people that are talented and that you've recruited that are ready to play. So secondary and the linebackers, A+. The linebackers and the secondary room might be the best in the country on both of those. That's just my opinion. So, and now let's get to the schedule here. We've talked about all this stuff, but this is why you tuned in and to hear what I have to say about who wins these games that we're going to go through here and talk about. And so this is a really hard game, the first game of the year at Ohio State. This is a really hard game to predict. Ohio State has got a new quarterback. I think most people think Julian Sands is going to be the starting quarterback for Ohio State, and he's replacing Will Howard. This game is at Ohio State. It is a noon kickoff game. It's very tough. It's tough to go into Columbus and win a football game. It's an extremely intimidating, hard place to play. I just think Texas is a smidge better. Now, Ohio State's favored in this game, but I think Ohio State's defense is not going to be near as good as it was last year. Ohio State's defense last year was so good. Texas, in my opinion, their defense this year is not going to drop off at all. I think Texas has a big advantage defensively. Ohio State does have a really, really good offense, great receivers, but they're losing both their running backs. I don't know. I just feel like Texas is a little bit better. I like the fact that it's a noon kickoff instead of a night game. I think that helps Texas out a lot. And I think Arch Manning goes in there the first game of the year and gets a win. I really do. I think Texas starts the year off with a W in Columbus. So I'm giving you the win against Ohio State. You're 1-0. Then you play San Jose State. San Jose State, they're not good. You win that game, you're 2-0 against UTEP. UTEP's not good at all either. You're 3-0. Sam Houston State, you got 3 cupcakes in a row, and you're 4-0. Now, this is where I might have some issues with some of you fans for Texas, because I got you losing at Florida. Now, I know you killed them last year. I know you did. DJ Lagway did not play in that game. He's back this year. It's in the swamp. I think it's going to be, I think you're going to trip up there. I think Florida gets you, and I think you got your first loss there. Then you play against Oklahoma in Dallas. the Red River rivalry, I think you get Oklahoma. I think you beat them. Oklahoma's going to be much improved this year, though. John Mateer, offensively, they got Deion Burke coming back. Oklahoma's going to be better. But I think Texas is vastly still more talented than Oklahoma right now. I think Oklahoma's offensive line will be a little bit better too, but I really believe Texas's defense will eat that offensive line up this year, and I think Texas probably wins comfortably in this game, honestly. And then you got Kentucky. Kentucky is just an absolute train wreck. I don't care that you have to go to Kentucky at all. Kentucky might be worse than Mississippi State, and you're going to win that game. And then you're getting some breaks here. Then you get to play Mississippi State, who might be the other team that's the worst team in the SEC. You'll comfortably win that game as well. And then you got Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt snuck up on a lot of teams last year, and Diego Pavia, he's cocky, and they're not sneaking up on nobody this year. They're going to get everybody's best shot. I think they did play you all pretty competitive in Nashville last year, though. But this game is in Austin. Texas should cruise, no problem there. Then you play Georgia. This is the team that's kind of the team you can't get over the hump against for whatever reason. This is, I think, going to be a night game, too. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure it will be. They got a new quarterback there. Again, Georgia's going to be loaded on defense. Georgia, kind of like Texas last year, had some running back health issues as well. They had the same issue, and so they couldn't run the ball as effectively as the same as you all did. You all had the same issues with the running backs and running the football. This is going to be a really low-scoring game. I think this is a really tough game to predict, honestly. I think Texas wins this game. I really believe they go into Georgia and get it done. I just think that I don't have any issue with Connor Stockton. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. But at this point, I think that, Arch Manning at this point is hitting his stride. He's playing at a high level. I think he goes in there and gets a big win for Texas, and you still just have one loss. You're going to play Arkansas. At this point, Sam Pittman may be fired. I'm really surprised they gave him another year. He can thank Tennessee for getting another year winning that game last year. I still don't know how we lost that game. And then you got A&M at home. Now A&M is a good team. They went out in the portal and got some good receivers. Marcel Reed's back, a very elusive runner. It was a really tough game last year at A&M. You could definitely lose this game for sure. I'm still going to give you all the edge. This game's in Austin, and I do think you all are a little bit better. Plus, you're playing at home. I'm going to give you all the edge, but that's a very, very dangerous game, especially since it's a rivalry. I think you end the year 11-1. I'm not going to predict who wins the SEC or anything like that. I'm just doing the season. But I think that Texas goes 11-1. And your only hiccup is against Florida, which I know a lot of you are probably shaking your head and calling me stupid. But that's a lot of times teams lose games they're not supposed to. And I think Florida could be an 8 or 9 win team. So I think they get you in the swamp. But other than that, I think you win every other game. And I think Texas has a great year. You're firmly in the playoffs. And you have a chance to win a national title, something you've not done since 2005, and I think you have a chance this year to do it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I will talk to y'all later.